Have you ever learnt something new about yourself and then everything's made sense? It's quite a hard thing to describe, really. I'm 29 and I've got OCD. And I only found out in the last 6 months. I mean, I've always had it, obviously, but it's only been within the last 6 months to a year that that's all become clear. And then you look back on all your past behaviours and it all makes sense. And I've got this new level of clarity and understanding of who I am. It's really nice. It's quite bizarre, to be honest. It's the first time something so significant's happened. But now it all makes sense. Yeah, weird. But John, if you've always had OCD and you've always had the symptoms, why is it taking you 29 years to figure it out? Well, it's funny that, because I'm currently being treated for depression and anxiety. And we've just changed medicine to one that accidentally helps with OCD. And it's helped more than any of them at all. It's been fantastic. So, yeah. But I look back on all the stupid things I used to do in the past. Turns out, eating the exact same lunch every single day for years, it's not purely for convenience. No, it's not. That's the OCD. Turns out, putting 6,000 hours into a game called RuneScape over 10 years, that's not just having fun with your friends. That's OCD. Turns out going to the gym 3 to 6 times a week for 13 years. That's not just enjoying your hobby. That's OCD. And it's just been a weird realisation to come to this now, because it all make sense. I'm like, of course, that's what that is. And there's absolutely loads of traits and things I do and have done, and I'll do things in a particular order, you know, and be uncomfortable when they're not. I thought that was just me. I thought I just liked routine. Well, yeah, I do, but it's more than just liking routine. And don't get me wrong, there's people out there with OCD that is crippling. People that have to, you see it in films, that have to turn light switches on and off a certain number of times to feel balanced and calm. Or they have to wash their hands 5 times, or they have to do certain things, or they have to check the door time and time again that they've locked it before they can leave the house. I don't have anywhere near that. If anything, I was going to say I've got quite a nice level of OCD, because I wouldn't say it's crippling, it doesn't really impede on what I do, but at the same time I've never lived a life without it, so this might be a massive burden that I have a blissful ignorance towards. But yeah, it's just bizarre, to be honest, to get this realisation now when you're nearly 30 and be like, wow, that's that. Another reason why I've been able to just chip away at my online business, Mergs, for 7 years, because it's not that, it's the OCD, you know, again. And there has been times like doing that and working for myself where I can't lie, it's helped. It must have helped. Don't get me wrong, there's times where the OCD, the obsessive nature of it has made things really tricky. But at the same time, you just can't build anything great without obsessing over it to an extent. And yeah, the obsessive bit's definitely there. But then again, that comes in a bad way as well, because that obsessing over things can be crippling. I find out about something new, and I go down rabbit holes that normal people don't, you know. I needed some new motorbike tyres for my bike recently, and I spent, I don't know, 10 days, 2 weeks researching, comparing, looking at different tyre brands, tyre makes, reviews, the compounds they've used, the life that they had, how grippy they were, how good they were in the wet. And at the end of the day, I ended up just buying the ones that I already had on, thinking, I don't really know what to do here. So yeah, I do that a lot. I obsess over the most minute details, and I can't help it. I just don't feel at peace If I don't, it's very strange. It's same again. It's like all mental. What do you call it? An illness? I don't know. It's like all things like that. It's hard to understand it if you don't have it or haven't lived it, and I think that's very similar to this. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Anyway, I'm out for a walk. We're doing 10,000 steps every day in May, and this is one of the main things that gets me out of the house at the minute, even though I'm going mad. So let's keep walking and get these steps in. Something I learned recently as well is the difference between, well, in OCD, it's obsessive compulsive disorder. So it's the obsessive and compulsive bit. I've always understood the obsessive bit. That seems to be primarily where I come from. But the compulsive bit's true as well. The compulsive, in fact, I had to look up the definition to make sure this all made sense. So I actually Googled what's the difference between impulsive and compulsive. Because there's people that are impulsive that will walk into a tattoo shop and get one. That's pretty impulsive, that's hardcore. Whereas for me, the primary difference between impulsive and compulsive behaviour relates to the thought process behind it. Impulsive focuses more on instant gratification, whereas compulsive are driven by urges to do things that ultimately serve no logical purpose. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. I can't think of too many examples, but I do get into things. Like, at the minute, this is really bizarre, really weird. I just love eating sweets on a night. Don't know why. That's part of the compulsive. I feel weird if I'm not. That's like my snack of choice. And I'll just eat a full bag of Haribo sat there on the sofa. And I almost feel obliged to. I feel like I can't sit and not. It's really weird. And then I was like, am I addicted to sugar? No, it's the OCD, it's the compulsive. There's no benefit to it. There's no, oh, well, at least it's good for you, at least it's full of vitamins. No, it's not. It's just sugar, just processed sugar. But I get this uneasy feeling if I'm not. I feel like there's something missing. It's weird, but anyway, very bizarre example, I know, but that's all I've got for you off the top of my head. But no, it turns out taking these new tablets called Prozac or fluoxetine really helps. And it caught me off guard because I'm not taking it for the OCD. In fact, when I started taking it, it was for the depression and I didn't know I had OCD. So it sideswiped me. I just felt a bit better. And even that's hard. That's one of the hardest things I can do. Try and put into words how these tablets made me feel better. I can't do it. I don't know. I feel like I just felt more peaceful. I honestly, I don't know. I can't describe it. But I just felt better. And then I looked it up, read through all the documents and the NHS website. Turns out it's actually a treatment for OCD as well. So, and then we put all the pieces together, looking back at all my traits and obsessions and things like that, and it's like, oh my god, I tick like every box. I mean, even one of them that I read was the fear of being burgled or somebody breaking into your house and having to lock the door all the time. I actually thought that was from my mum, because when we used to be on Xbox as kids, she'd say, if you've got your headphones on, just lock the door, it's just safer. I was like, okay, yeah. And ever since, I can't sit comfortably in the living room if I don't know the door's locked. Like, it can be 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Nobody's going to come and walk in my house. I know that. It's never happened, ever. But I have to lock the door. I have to obsessively be like, lock it. There's even been times where I've upset myself because I've gone to check the door later thinking it was locked and it wasn't, and I've had a small panic, been like, oh, it's been open the whole time. Yeah, well, unless there's a burglar in a ski mask sat on your sofa, you're fine. It's like, yeah, I am fine. There's never been anything there's never been anything bad happen at all like that. So, yeah, it's bizarre. But then on the bright side, the OCD definitely comes in well for some things. It's definitely helped my bodybuilding career and my training and fitness things. Even this month, walking 10,000 steps every day. This is the OCD. I'm trying to use it for good. I'm trying to lean into it and be like, right, at least tailor your obsessions to something that's positive. So getting out and walking every day can't do me any harm. So yeah, that's the purpose of this, is just to just do it. Same with filming a video every day. I told myself I would, and I have a weird contract in my own head where I can't sit comfortably if I don't do it. I'd be antsy all day and all night, and I'd be, I don't want to say distraught, that's too much. I'd be distressed, you know. And even that's bizarre. Well, it's not for me. For me, I'm like, doesn't everyone feel like this? No. Turns out there's a lot of flavours and variations of people and how we all are. I suppose that's a good thing, really, because if we were all the same, we'd all offer the same thing, and the diversity and variation really goes a long way. So, one fun thing I did learn, if I can find it quick enough, I'll be right back. Right, brief intermission. This will worth it, I promise. Famous people with OCD. If you're feeling a bit mad, well, you are. We are. But there's also a lot of really influential, significant people that are equally mad. So we've got Nicolas Cage, Donald Trump, Howard Stern. We've got Jessica Alba, Leonardo DiCaprio. There's absolutely loads of top names. And that's only like celebrity type people. David Beckham. So there's loads of it, which it makes sense. You're like, oh, of course David Beckham does. That's why he's so good at what he did. Because he obsessed over it in a way that normal people don't. Yeah. So I've been really trying my best to grab that and run with it. And yeah, use this OCD for good is the plan. Harder than you think, but we're trying. And that's why we're walking, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So if we can lean into it, make it useful and productive, then we'll do all right. So anyway, that's a brief overview of my OCD. If you also share some symptoms or traits, let me know. It's fascinating to meet other people that have got similar things, or they have their own quirks in different ways. So if you've anything like that, drop a comment in below, because I'm fascinated and I'd like to learn more about this, and like to learn more about the different versions and variations and what other people are dealing with, because it's not all the same. And if you liked it, leave a like. I'd appreciate that. It takes you like 3 seconds. Just leave a like, and then we can all get on with our day. Anyway, I've got more steps to do, more walking to do, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Adios.